Hey, g'day, how are ya? It's a morning walk and a little bit different from what you would usually expect from summer in Australia, because we're not in Australia at all today. But before I get to that, how are you? Great to see you if you're a new friend or an old friend. Let's go for a walk and have a chat. Earlier in the week, I had my best ever high-speed skiing stack. Probably because of the ice. It was just after we'd had a little bit of snow. We'd had sort of about 5 centimetres of snow overnight, so just enough to give it a really nice sort of top coat. And we're way up high on the mountain, and I was just attacking this downhill, like really gunning it, going as fast as I could, attacking this big corner, skimming around this corner, and then I saw it. It was huge. A massive block of ice. And it was too late. Too late for me to get around it. And boom, whoa, crunch. Yeah, not a lot of fun. You have this moment when you're like lying in the snow, right? And you're like doing this body scan just to see if you can tell if anything's broken. And I'm kind of like, oh, my wrist is sore, really sore. But fortunately not broken. Everything else seems to be okay. So off we went and we kept on skiing. And then skied in the afternoon again for many hours. And basically by the time I got back to our hotel room, I was like completely broken. And the first thing that happened when I walked in the door was like the kids who had been patiently waiting there all afternoon came rushing over and said,
"Now we can go and do it. We can go and do it.
I'm like, do what, kids?
We can have an epic snowball battle."
For real? Like, I'm broken here. I'm done. I've got nothing left. No.
What about building a snowman?
No, that ain't gonna happen either. And then one of them says to me,
"But you're always telling us that we need to make the most of the experience, and this is our only chance to do this. So this is your only chance to come and do this, to build a snowman, to have a snowball fight, and you're not going to do it."
And this kind of horrible feeling, right, where you suddenly realise that you've been out-logicked and out-argued by your 11-year-old. I guess there's something good about that, right? And so, despite being broken, I went and had an epic snowball fight and built a snowman, and we had a great experience. And I had this massive realisation that, I've been charging all day. My whole goal was to ski as much as I could during the day, because we can't do this every day in Australia. In fact, you can't do it every day in France. And so I just wanted to make the most of the opportunity, make the most of the moment, to ski as much as I could. And yet, there's this whole other side of that story, which was my kids who'd skied in the morning and were patiently waiting for me to come back in the afternoon so that we could make the most of time together. And there's always two sides of the coin, right? All of us have those people in our lives, whether you've got kids or not, or you've got family, or you've got friends, they are also living by the story. And we are in the story. We might not be the main actor, they are. But they're living their own story, and sometimes it's more rewarding for us. It gives us the best feels when we're helping somebody else to live their story to the max, rather than just being completely focused in on ours. That was a huge realisation. And despite being sore at the end of this week, I'm really bloody glad that I got out and had that snowball fight. This is the ski station of Val Thorens. Val Thorens is in the French Alps. We're literally in the highest ski station in all of Europe. The station here is at over 2,600 metres, I think it is. And if you jump on those chairlifts there, it'll take you all the way up to 3,200, which isn't the highest ski station in Europe. That's actually a Swiss station. I think it's called Zermatt, which goes all the way up to 3,800 metres if you're a skier and you like to get up high on the mountain. But Valto, which is where we are, is one of the few places that you can go late in the season, which is what we are, where you're guaranteed to have snow. And I don't know if you can see it on the film there, probably not, but there's a bit of snow falling this morning despite it being kind of very late in the ski season. So very lucky that people have been skiing here since the late 1800s, 1898, and the first mechanical lifts opened up in the 1930s. And since then, Valto has been I mean, previous to that, actually, there was no village here at all until I think about 1970. 1971 is when they started constructing an actual village here. So before that, you would drive up the mountain and you could ski, but you couldn't actually stay here. Now, this place is home to about 800 people year round, and during the ski season, it grows by like 22,000, maybe even more. There's 22,000 beds available in the hotels. 2,500 extra staff basically come to this place in order to work the season. So people who come and work in the restaurants and people who manage the ski lifts and man the ski shops, you name it, this whole place just basically explodes in size. I've been here a couple of times, in fact, normally earlier in the ski season, more around Christmas time, where it's absolutely jam-packed. But that has some advantages because the snow is better. This time of year late in the season, the snow tends to be pretty icy. In fact, if I show you this, like, that ain't snow at all. That's just like pure ice. I didn't grow up skiing. I skied for the first time when I was about 30 years old. One of the things I find is most impressive is like just the infrastructure that's set up around it. You can see these kind of machines that are big tractors that essentially like comb. Give a nice coiffure to the ski slopes overnight. And pretty much from the time they close the slopes late in the afternoon, about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, until midnight, you'll see these things high up on the slopes. All you see is the headlights from a distance, basically like grooming the slopes. And not just that, but just the ski lifts as well. So impressive. Mechanical engineering that's involved in creating these seats that can haul you hundreds of meters up a mountain. And you don't have to do anything. As somebody who's like walked and hiked everywhere and biked everywhere their whole life, it feels a little bit lazy just to, I'm just going to just sit down on a chair, poof, and then get hauled up to the top and then enjoy your ski down. But it is a great pleasure. You can tell it's late in the season because the roads are all completely bare of snow. And all of the hotels, you can see a lot of the windows are all closed up for the season. People who just come up here for the season to ski or to work, they're all gone by now. Well, that's been quite funny. There's this dude up in the balcony there who's like yelling at me like, hey, chapeau man. That means like hat man in French. He's like, hey, come up here. We want to do a prank. Come up here and do some filming. I'm like, no, I don't think I'm going to do that. He was very insistent. A bit too insistent. Scary insistent. I'm quickly getting the fuck out of here. Run. Anyway, whatever you're getting up to today, I hope it's a good one. I'll see you somewhere else in France in the next episode of The Morning Walk. Thanks for joining me for a walk and a chat. See you next time.